I've lived in Texas all my life, and being around horses and things, it's kind of a thing. You will be exposed to it at some point. And now, I'm not going to say that I'm really far away from being a cowboy or anything like that, but it's something that, I have been around my whole life. So, honestly, it's just never been something that's been that interesting to me. Going to rodeos and things like that, it's just never been my thing. So when I saw the trailer for Yellowstone and kept hearing about it, I'm like, this show's just not for me. Boy, was I wrong. So let's talk about Yellowstone. Yellowstone tells the fictional story of sixth generation rancher John Dutton and the fight to save his beloved ranch, which, according to Yellowstone canon, is the largest ranch in the United States. The Dutton family must contend with politicians and land developers from all sides. The series comes from the minds of Taylor Sheridan and co-creator John Linson and stars Kevin Costner, Luke Grimes, Kelly Reilly, Wes Bentley, and Cole Hauser. So if the name Taylor Sheridan sounds familiar to you at all, it's probably because you've heard it before, is that like in the last 10, 15 years. The guy's been doing some amazing work. He wrote Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve, but man, that movie is fantastic. It's so, so good. And then he also wrote Hell or High Water, which was another great film. I really, really enjoyed that one. Then he wrote and directed Wind River. And if you haven't seen Wind River, you should see Wind River. It is a great movie. It's haunting. It's beautiful. It's disgusting and scary and awesome. It's just a great movie. You should definitely check it out. So, look, I mean, knowing that, you say, okay, well, this Yellowstone, I don't know. Is this for me? Just trust me, give it a shot. The standouts for this show really are number one, Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner has been one of those guys that, he's 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 Kevin Costner, and a lot of people just like him because they like the roles he plays. And then some people are like, he's not much of an actor, is he? Well, look, all I know is I've been very, very impressed with his work in this show as the leader of the family and all that. I really, I really like Kevin Costner. I've always liked him, but it was always that, yeah, but he's not great. Here, it's just a perfect role for him. Kelly Reilly as Beth, she is insane in this role, an insane character. Let's be honest. She's it's got to be a part that just most people would just die to play a character like this. She's so complex, so many facets to her character that you just never know what she's going to do. There were times in the first couple of seasons where I was like, I don't like this character. She's just mean and just I don't like her. And then you start to learn more about her and you start to go, okay, now I kind of get it. And now I really like her. And then she does things that it's like really bad things and then like really good things. And you're just like, I don't know. They're so she's awesome. Look, she is awesome in this part. And there's also a character played by Jefferson White. His name is Jimmy in the show. And look, I didn't know who he was. I'd never seen him before. And I didn't really think his character was really kind of going anywhere. But then you start to learn more about his character and you really start to root for him and you start to really, really like him. He's been great too. But the one that sticks out to me above all others is Cole Hauser as Rip. Uh, Rip is another one of those characters where he's just a badass. He's so awesome. And then you find that there's a reason why he acts the way that he does, and you start to learn more about him. And Cole Hauser plays him with such like ferocity, but then there's this tenderness to the character that is just look, it's the best role that Cole Hauser's ever been in. It's probably the one that he's going to be remembered for. It's to me, it's the role that Cole Hauser was. I mean, he was born to play this part. He is so good in it that it's just like, wow. And there's a ton of other characters and actors that you'll recognize that come and go. And I don't want to say anything about any of those characters because you never know what's going to happen on this show. There are so many plot twists and turns and things that you go, "Oh my, what?" You just never know what's going to happen. So I don't want to say much more other than look, some of these characters don't have long on the show. I'll just say that. The look of the show is just beautiful, right? I mean, the ranch itself, the Yellowstone Ranch, it's a real ranch in Montana, and it is gorgeous. I think it's one of my favorite things about the show is that you get a lot of this drama, and then you get these times to breathe, and you get to look at this beautiful scenery, and it's really, really cool. And a lot of the show is shot in Utah. So look, it's a beautiful looking show. Technically, I don't think there's anything wrong. The acting's great. Look, it's technically perfect. Now, I think a lot of people, when they hear that, oh yeah, it's about these, ranchers, and there's Native Americans who are trying to build a casino, and there's these land developers that are trying to build this and build that, build resorts, and they're trying to build an airport and all. I mean, just all of this stuff that you're dealing with. And then along the way, you're also dealing with things on the ranch itself. It sounds like that sounds boring, but it's never boring. When I'm watching a series, what typically ends up happening, especially in a binge type situation, right? Which is definitely what happened here. Usually I'll watch 2 episodes and then I'll be like, nah, I want to do something else. And I want to go do this and I want to go work on this or whatever. I don't typically sit there and just watch a show, right? It's just not what I do. This show just kept me going, kept hitting next, right? You hit start the next episode. Let's just go. And it's one of those it's wonderfully bingeable, I guess you could say. It's the story's great. The story is so good and you just want to know what happens next. They did a great job on that, and that is consistent through all 4 seasons, in my opinion. Even though I will even say that the 4th season is a little weaker than the previous seasons, but it's still good enough to keep you coming back. So it's a weird thing, but look, I urge everyone to give it a shot. And now I'm starting to watch 1883, which is sort of how the Yellowstone sort of came to be. And I know that Taylor Sheridan is also writing that, and I believe he's only directed the first episode, but his hands are all over it. I mean, it's got that classic sort of Yellowstone feel, which is to say it's great. I'm really, really enjoying that as well. Now, how to watch this. If you have cable, you can watch this on the Paramount Network, okay? But as far as like streaming goes, you would think it would be on Paramount Plus. It's not. It's on Peacock. And the first 3 seasons are available on Peacock. And actually, I believe, even without a subscription, you can watch the first episode of Yellowstone. So you can check it out and see if you like it. As far as I know, season 4 is not available on streaming anywhere. My sister-in-law had already purchased it, so I got to watch all of season 4 too. But that's one of those things where, look, for, I guess, a $10 a month, or $4.99 for Peacock, whatever the price is, look, it's worth it. If you get into the show, you're going to like it. And you might actually find something else on Peacock as well to check out. So I'm curious about how many people have actually watched Yellowstone. And look, I love the show. People had been telling me about it for months. I really just kind of wrote it off. I'm like, dude, I live in Texas. It's just something that doesn't interest me. But I've really, really enjoyed this show. I want to watch more. I'm ready for more already. So let me know what you think about Yellowstone down below. Let me know if you end up watching it. I'd love to hear that. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.